Good afternoon. I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Just confirm me once. Good afternoon. Okay. So in the last session, we were discussing about this one topic of cancer. We have discussed about human body and we have started our discussion with a topic related to cancer. In cancer, we have seen that what are the factors which are causing cancer, how the cancer is caused, how the cell differentiation can ultimately lead to the problem of cancer. So this is one part which we have seen in the last session, that what causes cancer. Now we will discuss about other issues also, like what are the other health related issues which are quite prevalent or from where you can get questions. So we will see that part also. But before we go into that, we will see some questions and after that we will come to the topics. Okay. So we will practice some questions and then we will come to the topics. So here we have the first question. Endocrine glands secrete their hormone through a duct. Pituitary gland regulates the secretion of growth hormone via hypothalamus. The thymus gland is responsible for regulation of metabolic activities. How many of the statements are correct? So this is first question. I have to dictate cancer today, Aniket. I know that. So what will be the answer in this question? A option, B option. Endocrine glands secrete their hormone through a duct. This is going to be incorrect because you know that they have their direct secretion in the blood. So this first option is incorrect. Pituitary gland regulates the secretion of growth hormone via hypothalamus. You know that it is just the reverse of it, because pituitary gland is not regulating the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is regulating the pituitary gland. The thymus gland is responsible for regulation of metabolic activities. Thymus gland is responsible for thymosin, and thymosin is related with T cells, not the metabolic activities. Okay. It is not related with it is not thyroid gland, it is thymus gland. Thymus gland is releasing thymosin. Thymosin is responsible for what? It is responsible for the maturity of T cells, not the metabolic activities. Okay. The third option is incorrect here. How many of them are correct? Answer is option number D. Okay. Answer is option number D, that is none. Lymph nodes filter out the defective cells from lymph. Lymphatic cells are leaked by blood capillaries in the intercellular spaces. Lymph cells are produced exclusively in a spleen. How many statements given above are correct? This is question number 2. Lymph nodes filter out the defective cells from the lymph. Lymphatic cells are leaked by blood capillaries in the intercellular spaces, and lymph cells are produced exclusively in the spleen. Question number 2. What will be the answer? B option, C option, A option, all three. Anyone not going with option number D? Okay, so if you look at this, lymph nodes filter out defective cells from lymph. This one is correct. Lymphatic cells are released or leaked by the blood capillaries in the intercellular spaces. That is correct. Lymph cells are produced exclusively in a spleen. That is incorrect. We have the bone marrow also. Bone marrow is also providing T cells. So here this one is also incorrect. So answer is option number B. that is only 2. Here we see that the limb cells, one of the limb cell is the T cell. So they are also produced in the bone marrow, not only exclusively in the spleen. Okay. So here 1 and 2 will be correct. Answer is B option. Consider the following: pancreas, adrenaline, liver. Which of the above can act as exocrine gland? Which of them can act as exocrine gland? So this is quite easy one. I think all of you can answer. This is something which everyone can answer, I guess. Like, pancreas can act as adrenaline, no, liver, yes. So 1 and 3, that is option number C will be correct. Option number C will be correct here, not option D. Some people are saying option D, option A. How will adrenaline act as exocrine? Adrenaline is a part of endocrine gland. Consider the following statements. Cancer may develop only in those persons who are addicted to toxic substances. Cancer cells are introduced in body by infectious agents. Which of the statements given above are correct? Cancer may develop only in those persons who are addicted to toxic substances. Cancer cells are introduced in the body by infectious agents. Which of the statements given above are correct? Okay, D option, A option, F option. How did you get the F option? 2 steps ahead of UPSC. Cancer may develop only in those persons who are addicted to toxic substances. I think you can easily understand why people are giving option number A. Many of you are saying option number A. Last I told you that cancer can develop in any person. Here it is saying it can develop only in those persons who are addicted to toxic substances. So how you are saying option number A? So this one is incorrect. Cancer cells are introduced in the body by infectious agents. We have seen it. It is not introduced by someone. It generates in the body itself due to the defect during the division process. So it is not introduced by a bacteria or a virus. It is created inside the body and it is a result of any such defect during the multiplication process or during the cell division, not introduced by outside. So this second option is incorrect. Answer here is going to be option number D. Neither 1 nor 2. Okay. Then, which of the following statements are correct? The motor functions of the body are regulated by hindbrain. The cerebellum is responsible for maintaining the posture of the body. Select the correct answer using the code given below. What is hindbrain? Hindbrain is the brain located in the back side. This is the forebrain, this is the hindbrain. A option, C option, D option. The motor functions of the body are regulated by hindbrain. That is incorrect. Forebrain. Do you decide to walk or it happens automatically? Ask yourself. Like suppose if you are moving your hand, have you decided by yourself to move it or has it automatically moved? If you are walking, are you walking automatically or you have decided to walk? The motor function, motor means the mobility, where we are walking, we are moving our legs. So is it a voluntary or an involuntary function? It is a voluntary function. You decide you have to walk. You decide you have to raise your hand. And this voluntary function is controlled by the forebrain, not the hindbrain. So first option is incorrect. Second is saying the cerebellum is responsible for maintaining the posture of the body. So that is correct. The cerebellum is the one. The cerebellum is the one which is responsible for maintaining the posture of the body. So this answer here is option number B, 2 only. Motor means where we are moving. Motor means something which is related to moving, mobility. So why this performance? Like, why so many questions are wrong? What are you revising? We have discussed many of these topics last day itself, and then after also you are making so many mistakes. Are you focusing on that additional part, that what happens in coma? How do we get the dreams? So you are focusing on all those parts, that how these things are happening, but not focusing on the part which we are discussing in the class. So try to bring your focus there. The things which we are discussing in the class, try to focus on there, not deviate from here to there, that what happens in this case, what happens in that case. The one which we are reading in the class, the one which is relevant for exam, first try to focus on that part. Okay. Yes, thymus is primarily with this lymphatic system. Thymus gland releases thymosin. Thyroid gland releases thyroxine. Okay. So thyroid gland is related to metabolic activities. Thymus gland is related with maturity of the T cells. Okay. So let's write about cancer first, and then we will discuss the remaining portion. So write about this cancer first, that what exactly is cancer, how it occurs, and then we are going to discuss the next part. Okay. So first write this thing. Cancer. Start writing. Cancer refers to the uncontrolled growth and spread of defective or mutated cell inside the body. Cancer refers to the uncontrolled growth or spread of defective or mutated cell in the body. Next line. Normally, there are millions of cell division. Normally, there are millions of cell division. There are millions of cell division taking place in human body. On daily basis. Most of the time, these cell divisions have no defects. Most of the time, these cell divisions have no defects. However, once in a while, there might be a defect, there might be a defect, there might be a defect during cell division, during cell division, during cell division. In case of defect, in case of defect, the immune system of body, in case of defect, the immune system of body recognizes, the immune system of body recognizes and eliminates, recognizes and eliminates the defective cell, recognizes and eliminates the defective cell. However, if the immune system, if the immune system is unable to identify, if the immune system is unable to identify, defective cells, unable to identify defective cells, then these cells will start to divide in uncontrolled manner, divide in uncontrolled manner, in uncontrolled manner. These cells will form tissues, these cells will form tissues, these cells will form tissues. If the tissue is present at one location, if the tissue is present at one location, if the tissue is present at one location and it is not spreading, and it is not spreading, and it is not spreading, then it is called as, benign tumor. Then it is called as benign tumor. Then it is called as benign tumor. Then it is called as benign tumor. If defective cells start to spread, if defective cells start to spread throughout the body, if defective cell starts to spread throughout the body, then it becomes cancerous cells. Then it becomes cancerous cells. So this is one part, that what is cancerous cell or what is cancer. Now just think about this one part. Okay. Like if we are talking about, in the world there are 8 billion people. Okay. Now out of that, if there is one person out of these 8 billion people, you will find that inside this one person, if there is a defect in the cell, so that is something which is unique defect. That is something which is unique defect. If there is another person, so he might also have some defective cells, but this defective cell would have a new defect. It means each and every cancer case is going to be a new cancer. Cancer is not one single disease. Like, you know that in case of diabetes, we know that the insulin production is lower or insulin is not accepted by the cell. So that is one type of problem. Many people may be having the same issue. Okay. But in the case of cancer, what we see that every cancer is a new cancer, because everyone will have some new defect. The defect inside the cell is not going to be the same. In everyone's cells, there will be some unique defect. So that's why there is not one type of cancer or two type of cancer or 10 type of cancer. Every new cancer disease is a new type of disease, a new type of cancer. Okay. So this is also one important part which you have to understand. Cancer is not one problem. Every cancer is a new problem. Okay. How do we name them? Like sometimes we say that it is blood cancer. Sometimes we say it that it is intestinal cancer, lung cancer, or throat cancer. So it depends on where it has started from. What is the origin point? So when we recognize that what is the point of origin, we call it to be that cancer. That what is the origin of it. So naming of cancer is as per the origin, that from where it has started, from where it has like started to spread throughout the body. So there is not one type of cancer. There are like every cancer is a new type of cancer. Now when we talk about cancer, if cancer is a new problem, if every cancer is a new problem, there cannot be one solution. There cannot be one solution for the cancer. Okay. So when we talk about cancer, what are the solutions? Okay. One solution can be that we can have surgery. One of the solution can be surgery. That by surgery, one of the way of treating the cancer is by surgery. By surgery, there can be removal of the cancer cells. Now, is it a guarantee that after surgery there will be no cancer cells? There is no guarantee. There is no guarantee that new cancer cells will not develop. Generally, it is an attempt that the source of the cancer cell is eliminated. But we don't know whether it is present in other part of the body or not. If it is not present in other part, if it is at early stage, if it is confined to a location, then there is a chance that with surgery, cancer can be removed. Second part is radiation therapy. In radiation therapy also, what we try to do? In radiation therapy also, what we try to do, that those cancer cells which are present in a local area, in a particular area, they are like bombarded with radiations. They are bombarded with radiations. It can be UV, it can be gamma also, or X-rays. So with these radiations, there is bombardment of energy on those cells. Means energy is provided to those cells and they are destroyed. Like with the help of laser, you can burn something. In same manner, with the help of UV rays or X-rays or gamma rays, cancer cells can be destroyed. So that is also one of the option of treatment of cancer. There is another option which is simply called as chemotherapy. Chemotherapy. So in this chemotherapy, what do we see that? There are various medicines, various chemicals which are provided. These medicines directly kill the cancer cells. So in certain cases, in some of the options, there is use of chemotherapy or the drugs in order to kill the cancer. So that is also one of the option. Then what we see that there is another thing which is called as immunotherapy. Immunotherapy. So in this case, you can see the name is immuno. So here we are trying to revive the immune system of the body. We are trying to revive the immune system of the body. Okay. So here what we see that the immune system is given this boost that they can recognize the cancer cell and they can kill it. So that is also one of the option, immunotherapy. There is another thing which is called as hormonal therapy or hormone therapy. Now, hormone therapy is largely used to control the spread of cancer. It might not stop the cancer, it might not eliminate the cancer, but it can stop the spread of the cancer. It can reduce the spread of the cancer. So that is another thing which is called as hormonal therapy. Okay. So in some cases where treatment is not possible, in order to increase the life of the person, in order to decrease the symptoms or the pain, hormonal therapy is also provided. Then there is also part targeted therapy. Targeted therapy. So this is one such therapy in which the cancer cells are identified and they are specifically targeted. In case of targeted therapy, the focus will be on identification of the cancer cells and trying to eliminate them, trying to end them. So that is targeted therapy. There is also a new thing called as a stem cell therapy. A stem cell therapy. So here, suppose that cancer cells are coming from a particular part. So that part can be removed and can be replaced by another stem cell. The stem cells can grow the different type of cells of the body. We know that it can grow different types of cells of the body. So suppose if there is a problem in the pancreas, so what we can see is the cells which are existing there, they can be cut down and replaced by the stem cells which can create pancreas inside. Okay. Or we can also grow different type of immune cells with the help of a stem cell. We can grow T cells which can target it. Okay. So that is also one type of stem cell therapy which we can use to treat the cancer. Will any one of them work or will they not work? Depend on the person and the situation. There is no sure shot. There is no sure shot treatment of cancer. But what we see that in the recent times, it has been improving. In recent times, there are many more people who are getting cured from cancer. So cancer is not incurable in the present times. It is difficult to be cured. In many cases, it is difficult to be cured. In some cases, we are increasing the life of the person, the longevity of the person. In some cases, there is an attempt to eliminate the cancer also. So it depends on person to person, their immune system, their resistance of the body. So that is one part. There is not one system of cancer treatment. There are multiple systems. Okay. But stem cell therapy is for diabetic cure. Try to understand one thing. Stem cell therapy is for everything. Stem cell therapy is not only for diabetes, not only for cancer, not only for HIV, not only for tuberculosis. Stem cell therapy can be used for simply changing the skin to doing any other part of the body. The stem cell therapy has many potential applications. Now, mutation is change in the genetic composition. Rotten means something different. Rotten means the one which has been spoiled. Okay. Immunotherapy is one part where we are giving more like a boost to the immune system, where we are targeting to improve the immune system of the body. Like in COVID situation also, what is the main focus? The main focus is to improve the immunity of the body. So that is immune therapy. Targeted therapy, where we try to identify what are the cancer cells, we identify them, we study them, and then we try to find out the solution to ending those cells. That is targeted. So they will not impact other cells of the body. Like in chemotherapy, when we are targeting the cancer cells, other cells of the body are also impacted. In radiation therapy also, when we are targeting the cancer cells, other cells are also impacted. In targeted therapy, there will be a special focus on just the cancer cells. Okay. Cancer cell do not create pain. Due to cancer, the organ's efficiency decreases. Like suppose that if a person is having a cancer tumor or a benign tumor or a malignant tumor near the lungs, so his lungs will not be able to inflate or deflate properly. So will it cause pain to that person? Yes, it can cause pain. If that same thing is near the intestine, can it cause pain over there? Yes. Okay. So pain is because of this one problem, that the organs don't get the proper space to function effectively. Okay. A stem cell we will see later also, like what do stem cells do? We will see that later also. Yes, Uma, I am able to see your comments. Okay. So we will talk about a stem cell later also, like how it changes everything. We will see that later in the biotech section. Yes, in chemo, there is a chance of mutation. In radiation also, there is a chance of mutation. There is no best therapy for cancer. There is no best therapy for cancer. For cancer, there is simply one thing. It depends on the person. It depends on the time. There is no one best therapy. Hormone therapy is one where we try to just suppress the cancer cells spread and like promote the development of good cells. So this is one part. I think you have written this one thing, that what is there, what types of therapy are there. Not relevant for exam, just note them. If you want to note them down, you can note it down. Yeah. Now, coming to the second part. There is another problem which is called as diabetes. Okay. There is another problem which is called as diabetes. So this is one another thing. Diabetes. Now, we are coming to this one part, diabetes. Okay. So this is also one of the problem, which is one of the major killers in India, or one of the major problems in India, especially in the present times. Okay. So in the case of diabetes, what is the problem? We will try to understand. Okay. See, generally, people understand that diabetes is one such thing which is a lifestyle related disease. Okay. There is one thing which is lifestyle related. This is called as diabetes type 2. This is diabetes type 2. Diabetes type 2. Okay. In this problem, what we see that the insulins are produced by the body. Okay. Or why this occurs, we will see that. Okay. Normally, you know that in our body, there is one thing called as pancreas. Okay. This pancreas is releasing insulin. Insulin is responsible for controls the sugar level, controls the sugar level in blood. It controls the sugar level in blood. Here the sugar does not mean the sugar which we are adding into the tea. The sugar simply means the carbohydrates which are there. The one sugar which you are eating, that also contains carbohydrates, but every other thing which we are consuming, like when we are consuming rice also, potatoes also, when we are eating any such cereal crops or cereal grains, so we are getting carbohydrates or sugar from there. Okay. So it controls the sugar level in the blood. That is the role of insulin. So what we see that in case of diabetes, what we see that there is excess sugar or uncontrolled sugar level in blood. Uncontrolled sugar level in blood. In this case, what we see that blood becomes thicker. The blood becomes thick. So this is one thing which we see here. When we are talking about diabetes, in the case of diabetes, we see that there is uncontrolled level of sugar in the blood. The blood is becoming thick. And when the blood becomes thick, it can cause other problems. It can cause other problems. It can reduce the functioning of white blood cell. It can impact the flow of blood through the heart or through the arteries, through the capillaries. It can also impact the exchange of materials between the cell and the capillaries. Okay. So these all things may be the result of diabetes, may be the impact of diabetes. But here what we see that the blood is becoming thick. Why this blood is becoming thick? There is one region, and that region is insulin of region is deficiency or ineffectiveness of insulin. So either there is a deficiency of insulin or the insulin is not effective enough to control the sugar level. That is one thing which we see in case of diabetes. Diabetes is what? In case of diabetes, we see that there is uncontrolled sugar level in the blood. This uncontrolled sugar level leads to blood becoming thick. Now after this, many problems can arise. It can impact the movement of the blood through the arteries, veins and capillaries. It can lead to cardiovascular diseases. It can also impact the exchange of materials. Okay. When blood becomes thick, when there is too much sugar, then you know that the blood might not be able to store other things like RBC or WBC. Their amount will reduce. Okay. So what we see here, that this is one thing which we see in case of diabetes. Now the question is why? Why this insulin is getting deficient or why it is becoming ineffective? Why it is becoming deficient or ineffective? This is one thing which we have to see. Okay. So when we come to this, there is one problem, lifestyle related. Lifestyle related means where people are going for excess consumption of the carbohydrates or fat rich food items. Okay. So here we see that excess carbs, fats, okay, less exercise. So this is one part where we have diabetes type 2. In this case, the insulin is released. Insulin is getting released, but not effective. But what we see that, but not effective to control sugar level. but it is not effective to control the sugar level. So that is one thing which we see in case of diabetes type 2. That what we see here, that excess carb, fat, less exercise, this may be the reason. The diabetes which is caused here is diabetes type 2. Here insulin is getting released, but it is not effective to control the sugar level. So that is type 2 diabetes. Okay. There is another diabetes which is type 1. This is the most common, like 90 to 95%. 90 to 95% cases are like type 2 diabetes. Okay. Then we have type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes. Okay. So here what we see that, like in this type 1 diabetes, we see that it is a genetical issue. Okay. It is an autoimmune disease. Okay. A disease where immune system is responsible. Where immune system is responsible. So here what we see that immune system destroys the beta cell of pancreas that releases insulin. So in this case, what we see that it is an autoimmune disease, and in this disease, the immune system of the body is itself harming. The immune system of the body itself is harming the insulin producing beta cell of pancreas. There is a beta cell in pancreas which are responsible for generating the insulin. So what we see that in this case of type 1 diabetes, which is like found in almost 5%. Okay. So in this case, what we see that here the immune system is destroying the insulin producing beta cell of the pancreas. So as a result of this, what we see that in type 1 diabetes, there is deficiency of insulin. There is a deficiency of insulin. Now this one, it can start at any age. Okay. Whereas what we see that this type 2 diabetes, commonly after 40 to 50 years. Although in the recent times, due to changing lifestyle situations, it is even there in those people who are in the 30s, means between 30 to 40 also. So even those people are getting impacted by diabetes. But type 1 diabetes can be from childhood to at any age. Okay. Normally it develops in the childhood itself. So here there is a problem that insulin is not being created. In the case of type 2, insulin is being created, but it is not sufficient and it is not being utilized by the body to control the sugar level. So here it is not effective, and in this case it is deficient. So these are the two common types of diabetes. There are other diabetes also, like if a person is having no such nutrition, if a person is lacking nutrition, then a type of diabetes may start there also, in which the insulin is not getting produced in sufficient amount. Okay. So that is one thing where there is lack of nutrition, lack of insulin, and then it can cause diabetes. Okay. So that is a different case, quite rare. But these are the two most common diabetes cases in world and also in India. Okay. Beta cell is basically part of the pancreas. Beta cell is a cell found in the pancreas which releases the insulin. You can say that there is a sort of overload and then after it becomes ineffective. Blood means sugar is present in plasma only. So plasma will become thicker. You know that like 50 to 55% of the blood is plasma. So when plasma becomes thick, then the movement of the blood through the body is going to be impacted. व्हाइट से दिक्कत हो रही है आईज में, ये कैसे होता है? व्हाइट पे कैसे दिक्कत होती है आईज में? You know, white and black are two parts or two different color which is having the minimal impact on your eyes. So when you're having white background and black color, that is having the minimal impact on the eyes. If I change the color to green, yellow, pink and others, they will have more impact on the eyes. Acha, tell me one thing, Aniket. What are we preparing for? Are we preparing for UPSC or are we preparing for medical examination? Can a person develop both type of diabetes? That will be quite rare. No, that will never be asked. That will never be asked. Don't worry about it. So this is one part about type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. In your examination, okay, in your examination, the topics which may be commonly asked, okay, the topics which can be commonly asked is related to genetic issues. The genetic issues or those diseases which are there in the news. There is a chance that those diseases, those particular diseases which are there in the news or some genetic issues, they are more likely to be asked. If there is a viral disease which is there in the news, then there is a chance that they will be asking about it. Okay. Now coming to the next part, coming to this one section where we are discussing about this part of genetic issues, okay, genetic diseases. Coming to this part where we are discussing the genetic issues, the genetic diseases. Now in this case, you know that in human body, when we talk about the human body, you know this part that we have chromosomes. We have chromosomes. I have already told you that what is chromosome. So we have got 46 chromosomes in our body, or simply 23 pairs. we have got 23 pairs of chromosomes or 46 chromosomes in our body. Now, when we are looking at these chromosomes, if there is a defect in them, then also it can cause various type of genetic problems. And these genetic problems are the ones on which you might expect some questions in the exam. So we are going to see some of the very famous genetic problems which are relevant even for your examination. So first we are going to see some of these names of these diseases, and then we will come to them individually one by one. The first such disease which we are going to discuss is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia. Second thing which we are going to talk about here is hemophilia. Third thing which we are going to talk about is color blindness. Then we are also going to see about Down syndrome. We will also talk about this one called as trisomy X, double XY syndrome, or what we also call as Klinefelter syndrome. This one is also called as Turner syndrome. So these are the common genetic problems which are there, and we are going to discuss about them one by one. Okay. अच्छा, एक बात बताओ, what is your name? अंकुश. डायबिटीज से रिलेटेड कुछ मेडिकल साइंस एडवांसमेंट्स और इंडियन गवर्नमेंट इनिशिएटिव्स. If we discuss all the diseases and all the initiatives, your UPSC syllabus will not be over in 5 years. What topics we have to read? Let me decide that. Okay. Let me decide that what topics we have to go in detail. Wherever it is required, I will go in the detail of that. Okay. If we go in detail of all the famous diseases, it will take 5 to 6 years for completing science and tech. Okay. So let me decide that part, that which one is important or relevant for exam. Okay. Leave that part to me, then I will discuss. Okay. So wherever it is required, we will discuss that part. Okay. So this is one topic which we are going to discuss in the case of genetic diseases. Okay. Now, first of all, let us see this one thing which is very much famous, and this is a chance which can be asked in the examination: sickle cell anemia. But before we go into this sickle cell anemia, there is one problem which we have to discuss, and that is anemia. Okay. There is one problem which we have to discuss, that is anemia. So what exactly is anemia? When we talk about anemia, it is a problem in which there is a deficiency of hemoglobin in the body. Deficiency of RBC or hemoglobin in the body. Now, why this is caused? This is caused due to multiple factors. Okay. This, if we talk about the disease, what is the main thing which is caused here in case of anemia? We see that anemia is a problem in which there is lack of RBC and thus lack of hemoglobin. There is lack of RBC and there is lack of hemoglobin. That is one thing which we see in case of anemia. That if a person is suffering from anemia, what is the problem? the person is having lack of RBC. Okay. Now, try to understand this one thing, that if a person is having lack of RBC, what can be the possible impact? What can be the possible impact of it? Okay. So what can be the possible impact? Can you tell me? RBC is responsible for carrying the oxygen. If the oxygen is not being delivered to the different cells of the body, how it is going to create problem? Will there be lesser growth and development? Can there be lesser growth and development of the person? That can be one of the possibilities, because you need oxygen for getting the energy. When you get the energy, then there can be growth and development. So there is one part, lesser growth and development. Second thing, if a person is having this one problem of anemia, can there be one issue where the person might start suffering fatigue, okay, and weakness? The person may always feel that he or she is tired. So what we see, that there is going to be lesser growth and development of the body. There is also going to be fatigue and weakness in the body constantly. Can it impact the development of the mind? If a person is suffering from anemia, can it also impact the intellectual development? Because even when the brain is working, it also requires the energy. So can it impact the intellectual development? Impact on intellectual development. Can it also be there, that there can be impact on the intellectual development? So this is also one part which we see, that the IQ of the person may not develop properly. That is another angle. Then we also see this one part, the immune system of the person. Will it be very strong? Immune system develops on what? If the body is getting proper energy, if the bone marrow is getting proper energy, if the spleen is getting proper energy, if all the body parts are working properly, then the immune system will also work properly. So in this case, if the person is not getting proper energy, will that person can have a weak immunity? So again here what we see, that the person may be having a weak immunity level. So this is one part. Okay. In the case of women, if a woman is having anemia, can it cause complexity? Can it cause problem in pregnancy and child delivery? Okay. So in case of women also, we see that during the pregnancy, during this pregnancy or during the delivery of child also, there can be complication. Okay. Because child also requires that blood support from the mother. So child may also be affected, plus the health of mother can also be impacted. So what we see, that complexity in pregnancy and child delivery. Okay. So there is going to be a complexity in pregnancy and child delivery also. So that is also one part what may be there due to this one problem of anemia. Now the thing is, we have seen that, okay, anemia is this lack of RBC or lack of hemoglobin and this can cause the following problem. Okay. But why this is being caused? Okay. What is the reason behind it? What is the reason behind it? What are the regions which are causing this problem of anemia? Why there is anemia prevalent, or why there is a prevalence of anemia? So now see, first thing is there is lack of iron. Okay. This lack of hemoglobin indicates lack of iron rich food. Okay. So what we see that lack of iron rich food means the diet which is being provided, to the person may be lacking sufficient amount of iron. Okay. Here you have to understand one part, that iron is required. Iron is required for formation of hemoglobin. Iron is required for formation of hemoglobin. So there can be a region that there is lack of iron rich food. Okay. That is one part. Second thing is that let us say a person is continuously suffering from some diseases. A person is constantly suffering from some diseases. So will it impact the formation of RBC in the body? Okay. If a child is there, let's say of 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and due to lack of hygiene, due to lack of good water or proper potable drinking water, due to lack of safe drinking water, due to lack of hygienic food, due to hygiene condition, there can be multiple diseases, and these multiple diseases can impact the formation. They can also impact the formation of RBC or hemoglobin. The second part is prevalence of diseases. Prevalence of diseases due to what? Due to like a hygiene condition, or otherwise also, Okay. Like these days it can be caused due to pollution also, heat also, many things are responsible. Viral infection is also there. So if there is lack of food, if there is prevalence of diseases, that can become one of the reason. Okay. Then the third part is lack of awareness. Lack of awareness about the suitable food items and about anemia also. Many people don't have awareness about anemia. So there is also lack of awareness about suitable diet, and anemia. So that is also one of the reason, lack of this awareness about suitable diet and anemia. Then what we see that there is also one problem in our society. Okay. And that problem is particularly the gender bias. There is a particular region, gender bias. Okay. In our society, what has been seen that traditionally women have been consuming lesser amount of food as compared to men. Why? As part of our society, what we have seen that the women are first feeding the male members of the family, and after that they are taking their food. Many a times the nutritious food is not available to them. It may be lower in quantity or quality. So due to gender bias, due to this like gender bias in our society, women are especially not getting proper amount of food, a balanced food, the food which is good in quality also and quantity also. So that is also one of the prime factors. The lack of quantity and quality of food, to women due to gender bias. Due to gender bias. So that is also one of the reason that due to gender bias, what we see that there is lack of good quality of food and good quantity of food in the society. There is another factor which is responsible behind it, and that is, in case of women, there is also menstrual cycle. During the menstrual cycle also, they are releasing, or they are like losing blood. During the menstrual cycle also, women are losing blood. So that is also contributing to this lack of blood inside them, or lack of RBC inside them. Okay. So what we see that there is another factor, and that is like losing blood during menstrual cycle. During menstrual cycle in women. So that also becomes a reason why there is like anemia in cases of women. Okay. So first we have seen that what actually is anemia. Then we have seen what is the impact of anemia. Third thing, what we see that what may be the possible causes of anemia. Now, there is also one important part. Why we have written 2 points about women especially. In India, what we see that around 57% of women in the age of around 15 to 49 years are anemic. Around 57% of the women in India are anemic. And what we see that in case of children under the age of 5, it is almost 2/3. So almost 2/3 children under the age of 5, and almost 60% of the women in the age group of 15 to 49 years in India are anemic. So write down this one line also. Write down this one line about the facts. In India, around 2/3 of children in India, around 2/3 of children under the age of 2/3 of children under the age of 5 years and 60% of women and 60% of women in the age group of 15 to 49 years, 15 to 49 years are anemic. Are anemic. So I hope you have written this one part. I am giving you 1 minute. Write this part also. 15 to 49 years. 15 to 49. Gender bias. You don't know what is gender bias? Have you gone through sociology class, like society class or not? We have seen the impacts. These are the impacts. Now see, so we are having this one problem of anemia in India. I have already told you that what is the figure. Now keeping this one thing in mind, the government of India has also launched multiple such schemes. Okay. So government of India has also launched multiple such schemes. Okay. Like what we see that government of India has come with this Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Yojana. Government has also launched Anemia Mukt Bharat. Okay. So in Anemia Mukt Bharat, what we see that there is a special target on children and women. In the second part, Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Yojana, there is a special focus on the nutritional supplements of pregnant women. Then we have also this Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme. Under that also, you may have seen that there is focus on the health of the girl child from the early age. Okay. Then we have also seen that the PDS system, the public distribution system in case of India, is also providing the food items to especially the teenager girls who are more likely to develop this problem of anemia in later stage of time. Then government is also trying to spread awareness among the people that you have to take iron supplements, you have to take balanced food. In the village areas, the Anganwadi workers and the ASA nurses or the ASA workers, they are also distributing iron supplements. They're also distributing iron supplements to women. So multiple steps have been taken by government in this regard. Okay. You can write them down one by one, steps by government. You can write down this one part, steps by government. So there you can write this one part, that first, Anemia Mukt Bharat, steps by government, Anemia Mukt Bharat. Government of India is providing nutritional supplements to children, adolescents or teenagers, children, adolescents, and pregnant women, nutritional supplements to children, adolescents, and pregnant women across the country. So that is Anemia Mukt Bharat. Write down second one, Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Yojana. Government provides special incentives and nutritional supplements to pregnant women, like they are given some money. Okay. So Pradhan, Government of India provides special incentives, in bracket you can write money, and nutritional supplements to pregnant women's. It also provides for free checkups, free checkups, free checkups and treatment of anemia, free checkups and treatment for anemia, treatment for anemia. Third part, Government of India, or simply the government is also distributing iron tablets, through ASHA workers or Anganwadi workers, ASHA workers or Anganwadi workers in various parts of the country. The government is also providing iron supplements or tablets through ASHA workers or Anganwadi workers in various parts of the country. The government also provides nutrition to adolescents and children through PM Poshan scheme, nutrition to adolescents and children through PM Poshan scheme. PM Poshan is the midday meal scheme. So this is one part what government is providing for anemia. Why anemia is an important topic for you? Like if you see, in India there is prevalence of this like 2/3. In the case of anemia, what we see that there is 2/3 prevalence in case of children. Okay. And in case of women, it is roughly around 60%. So that's why it is one of the most important topic for your examination, anemia. Okay. So anemia, what it is being caused due to, then plus like what is the impact we have seen, what is the like region behind it, then we have seen what government step has also been taken. If you want to write way forward, you can write along this line. Okay. You can write what is the region, accordingly you can mention what way forward can be there. So I'm leaving that part to you, that you can write the way forward from your side, that what can be the way forward in this situation, that despite all these government interventions, if we are still having so much of anemia in India, like these schemes are not running for 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. They have been there in existence for the last 20 plus years, 30 plus years. Despite having a scheme like that, we are still having higher prevalence of anemia in the country. So it means the implementation is not proper. The awareness is lacking. Maybe they are not still getting the balanced food, the balanced diet. Okay. So even in the latest NFHS 5, National Family Health Survey 5, we have seen that anemia cases are increasing rather than decreasing. Okay. So this is one part. Okay. Wait for it. That is one major problem, like in many of you. Wait for it. We are discussing here anemia. And what was our main topic? Sickle cell anemia. So try to have some more patience. We are coming to that part now. This is anemia, and we have to discuss sickle cell anemia. So that is different. Have some patience. So this is the first case, that is anemia. Now we are coming to the second part, that is sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia. Sometimes it is also simply called as sickle cell disease. Sickle cell disease also. So sometimes it is also called as sickle cell disease. Okay. Now see here. There is this one question: is there a way to end up anemia from the body completely? Anemia is like not a major problem. If there is a proper supply of nutrients and everything, anemia is easily like anemia is not like a permanent type of problem. Okay. If proper supply of nutrients have been provided, then anemia can be like it can be cured. Okay. If the person is again having lack of those nutrients in future, anemia may surface again. So anemia is a situation. Anemia is a situation in which there is a lack of RBC. Okay. There are the regions which we have identified that what may trigger the problem of anemia. In our society, parents are not allowing to eat iron tablets which are given in government school. So then there is like a lack of awareness also about this. There is lack of awareness also. There was a time when the polio vaccines or the polio, OPV, the oral polio vaccines, when they were also being provided in many of the societies in India, they were not allowing the children to have OPV, the oral polio vaccines. Why? Because there was a lack of awareness among the people that what polio vaccine can do. Many people fear that it can cause polio. Some fear that it can cause infertility. So there are different fears because of these things. So first it has to be like people have to be made aware about it. Okay. Then with the help of this awareness, it can change. Okay. No comment on this part that anemia is genetic, as we are studying under the heading of genetic disease. If you don't understand this part, then how are you preparing for UPSC? If you are having difficulty in understanding this part, that we started with a problem, sickle cell anemia, and before going into that, we are discussing about one related topic of anemia. If you are not able to distinguish between heading and a component of it, then why are you preparing for UPSC? So here we have this one thing, sickle cell disease. See, normally what we see that when we are talking about RBC, when we talk about any normal RBC, so what we see that it is oval shaped. A normal RBC is oval shaped. It is oval shaped. It is just like in the shape of a ball or an egg. It is oval shaped. Plus, it is flexible. It is flexible. It is soft. So normal RBC, if we look at this, a normal red blood cell, it is soft, flexible, oval shaped. Now suppose that when we are talking about a person, let us say this is the artery of the person and it is dividing into smaller arteries. If there is RBC flowing through it, they can easily pass through it. Why it can easily pass? Because what we see that they are soft, flexible and oval shaped. So there will be no such problem in passing of these red blood cells. They can easily pass through it. But when we talk about the other one, in some cases, what we see that in some cases, what we see that the shape of RBC changes. It becomes sickle shaped. It acquires the form like this. It is hard, non-flexible, and sickle shaped. So this is one such RBC, red blood cell, which is hard, non-flexible, and sickle shaped. So now if this RBC is supposed to pass through these vessels, if this RBC is supposed to pass through these vessels, is there a possibility? Is there a possibility that when it is going to pass through this area, it may get stuck? Is there a possibility that when it was passing through this area, it can get stuck over here? So when this RBC is passing through here, what we see that sickle shaped RBC, this sickle shaped RBC, this one may get stuck, as it passes through blood vessels. Like they can easily pass through the arteries because arteries are quite broad. So they can easily pass through it. But when we talk about this, that suppose they are passing through the capillaries. When they are passing through the capillaries are very fine structures. So when they are passing through capillaries, there is a chance that some of them might get stuck there. When they are getting stuck over there, this one may lead to destruction of RBC. It also, this on one hand, it can lead to the destruction of RBC. At the same time, it is also causing obstruction. This one is also causing obstruction in the flow of the blood. Causing obstruction in flow of blood. So what we see that what actually happens in case of sickle cell disease. In case of normal RBC, we see that it is oval shaped, flexible and soft. It can easily pass through the blood vessels. But suppose that if the RBC becomes sickle shaped, so when it is passing through this area, it is first thing hard, non-flexible and sickle shaped. So when it is passing through the blood vessels, at various ends, it may become stuck. It may become stuck over various areas. So it is obstructing the flow of blood. Second thing, many of them are also going to get destroyed. Like if it is flexible, if it is soft and flexible, it will easily pass. But if it is hard and non-flexible, it will get destroyed. Now suppose that when there is a destruction of RBC, will it mean that there is going to be deficiency of RBC? Deficiency of RBC. It is going to cause deficiency of RBC. And we have just read one thing, that if there is a deficiency of RBC, we call that as the situation of anemia. Okay. So that's why sometimes we call the sickle cell disease as sickle cell anemia. Okay. So here when there is a deficiency of RBC, that's why we call it as anemia, and hence we name it as sickle cell anemia. Okay. So in general, what we see that it is oval shaped, flexible, soft. It can easily pass through the blood vessel. Here we see that this one can easily pass through blood vessel. Okay. This one easily passes through blood vessel. But on the other hand, what we see here, that in case of sickle cell, it is hard, non-flexible, sickle shape. So when it is passing through the vessels, there may be a obstruction in the flow of blood. It may also get destroyed. So due to destruction of RBC, what we will see, there is going to be deficiency of RBC. And if there is deficiency of RBC, what it is called? It is called as anemia. And since it has been caused due to sickle cell RBC, that's why it is called as sickle cell anemia. Okay. So this is the first part. Now the second thing of it. When we talk about this sickle cell anemia, this is not caused due to environmental factor. This is something which is a genetic problem. It is something which is called a genetic problem. In case of human body, there are 23 pairs of chromosome. Out of that, 22 pairs are called as autosomes and one pair is called as sex chromosome. 22 pairs are called as autosomes and one pair is called as sex chromosome. So if there is a problem in the 11th autosome, so then there is the problem of sickle cell anemia. Okay. If there is the problem with this 11th autosome or chromosome, then we see that there is a problem of this sickle cell anemia. So I hope this first part is clear. So this one is caused due to defects in chromosome 11. This is caused due to defect in chromosome number 11. Okay. 11th जो है 11th, when we talk about our chromosome, so in chromosome, if we look at this, in the case of chromosome, we see that 22 of them are autosome and 23rd is called as sex chromosome. So 11th autosome, the 11th autosome is also the 11th chromosome. It is serial wise. So you don't have to get confused in there that will the 11th chromosome will also be 11th autosome. It goes like that only. The first 22 are called as autosome. So autosome number 11 or chromosome number 11, both are same things. Okay. So this is the one part, what is the sickle cell anemia. Okay. Now, coming to this one portion, in case of sickle cell anemia, in the case of this sickle cell anemia, in which population it is more prevalent? It is a genetic problem. So it is not going to be in everyone. In certain areas, it can be more prevalent. In certain population, it can be more prevalent. So what we see that in case of India, This one is more prevalent. This one is more prevalent in tribal population. This is more prevalent in tribal population. And at the same time, it has also been seen that it is more prevalent in those populations which are considerably on the lower side of the economy, or those who are not having sufficient amount of resources, those who are not having access to nutritious quality of food or proper care and everything. So we see that it has somewhat relation with the upbringing or with the environmental conditions also, that it is found in a particular type of population only. Sickle cell anemia is not prevalent in New York or Mumbai or like Shanghai. It is prevalent mostly in those belts where we have the tribal population living in those areas where there is lack of proper resources. It is mostly concentrated in the tribal belts. India has in fact the third largest prevalence of sickle cell anemia in the world. India has the third largest prevalence of sickle cell anemia in the world. In case of anemia, India will be the first number, because you can see 60% of women and like 2/3 of children. That is a huge number. They are suffering anemia. If we just compare the anemia, India will be at the first number. But if you say about this sickle cell anemia, what we see that a genetic problem due to chromosome number 11. This is having third highest prevalence in case of India. Third highest prevalence in case of India. And what we also see that in India also it is more prevalent. It is more prevalent in the cases of this area of tribal population. The first thing is this. Now second part is, do we have some treatment option as of now? As of now, what are the treatment options? The treatment. Can you tell me what can be the option? When we talk about chromosome, what is your name, Aniket? When we talk about chromosome, we always mean pair. When we talk about chromosome number 11, so it is always pair. Chromosome is not existing single-handedly. It is always about the pair. Okay. So can you tell me what is the possible way of treatment of sickle cell anemia? Any option? No, it is not passing. It is not passing as such. Nutritional food. Nutritional food may not be that much impactful. Okay. Blood transfusion, yes. Replace the defective chromosome. Not so easy. Nutritional diet plan can manage it. Okay. Can manage it, but a limited part. Okay. Now see, right now what is the option? One such thing which is being provided is hydroxyurea. It is a medicine. Okay. Now try to understand one thing, that if a person is having this sickle cell anemia, so it means there will be some amount of normal RBC also. In this case, there is going to be some amount of normal RBC also. So there is a particular medicine which is called as hydroxyurea. So this hydroxyurea is just increasing the amount of normal RBC and decreasing the amount of sickle cell RBC. So that is one of the option, hydroxyurea. This is increasing the amount of normal RBC and decreasing the amount of this sickle cell RBC. So that is one option. There is another option, that is regular blood transfusion. Regular blood transfusion. But you know that this is a temporary solution. This is not a permanent solution. And this is like very temporary solution. RBC has a lifetime of 120 days. So after every few months, this person will need blood transplant. So this blood transfusion is going to be very costly, and plus it has to be done regular. So it is not the best option. So blood transfusion is not the best option. There is third option which is there, which can be done, is bone marrow transplantation. Bone marrow transplantation. Bone marrow transplantation. So in bone marrow transplantation, again what we can do is, the cells, the sickle cell or the normal RBC, they are going to be made in the bone marrow. They are going to be made in the bone marrow. So bone marrow can be transplanted. Bone marrow can be transplanted. It can be taken from someone else and it can be transplanted in that person. So that is also one of the possible ways that bone marrow transplantation can also be there. Okay. And then it comes to finally the one which is the future, the gene therapy. The gene therapy, that is also one of the option. Okay. In gene therapy, we can modify the genes which are responsible for this. Like suppose autosome 11, it is causing this defect, it is causing this problem. So we can modify that particular gene, HBB gene of autosome number 11. The HBB gene which is responsible for this particular defect, that can be modified. So that may occur in the future. Okay. Right now this is just under the trial phase. It is not being done on a regular basis. There is also one option, stem cell therapy. In a stem cell, we are doing the same bone marrow thing, but in a different manner. We are not going for the entire bone marrow transplantation. We will just go for stem cell transplantation. The stem cell inside the bone marrow, which is making the stem cell inside the bone marrow, the hematopoietic stem cell, which is making the RBC, which that can also be replaced by other stem cell. So hematopoietic stem cell can be inserted inside the body. So one option can be the stem cell therapy also. So with the help of stem cell therapy also, we can cure this. The government of India has made a target that by 2047, we will try to eliminate the sickle cell anemia in case of India. We will have continuous inspection of it. We will have continuous checkups that where it is prevailing. We will try to understand why it is prevailing, and at the early stage itself, we will try to cure it. So this is one thing which has been announced by the government of India, that by 2047 we are going to get rid of this. So that is our sickle cell anemia. So write a few things about it. First about the data. Write down. India has the third highest burden. India has the third highest burden of sickle cell anemia. India has the third highest burden of sickle cell anemia. That will be determined by inspection of the RBC. We will collect the RBC from the person, and under microscope it can be easily determined that what is the shape and size of RBC. What is the shape and size of RBC? That can be easily observed under the microscope. First, India has the third highest burden of sickle cell anemia. Second, in India, sickle cell anemia, in India, sickle cell anemia is largely prevalent. Sickle cell anemia is largely prevalent in tribal population. Largely prevalent in tribal population. Next part. Okay. Treatment of sickle cell. Treatment of sickle cell. First, hydroxyurea. Hydroxyurea is one such medication. Which reduces the pain, and increases amount of normal RBC. Increases amount of normal RBC. Normal RBC. Just to give you one idea, like suppose a person is having sickle cell anemia, it means he will be having, or he or she will be having lack of oxygen supply or deficiency of oxygen supply. Now just see one thing, when you are exercising for the first time, or when you are doing a heavy exercise, and if the oxygen is not properly reaching to the cells of the body, we see that there is anaerobic respiration. It leads to formation of lactic acid, and it causes the cramps or the muscle pain. Now think about this, a person is having a continuous deficiency of oxygen. So how much painful it can be for that person, that the various organs which are there, they might be feeling continuous pain. Or even if a person is having anemia also, then also that person may have regular pain in the muscles, in the body, in the different parts. So each and every part, from the bones to the neurons, each and everything needs this oxygen. So when there is lack of oxygen supply, so it can cause the entire body to have pain. So write the second one, regular blood transfusion. Here it can help to manage the pain and weakness, but it is quite expensive. And less effective. It is quite expensive and less effective. Third part, bone marrow transplantation. Third part, bone marrow transplantation. It can help in production of normal RBC in the body. Can help in production of normal RBC in the body. Next, gene therapy. Gene editing. See, these three are common, like they are the one which are actually being done. Okay. These two are future things. Gene therapy. Write down. Genetic engineering or gene editing can be done to modify, genetic engineering can be done to modify the genes, which are responsible for sickle cell RBC. Sickle cell RBC. Next, stem cell therapy. The hematopoietic stem cell, in the bone marrow can be replaced to produce normal RBC. Decreases the amount of normal RBC, not decreases the amount of normal RBC. Increases the amount of normal RBC, decreases the amount of sickle RBC. In the first part, hydroxyurea is one such medication which reduces the pain and increases the amount of normal RBC, not decreases. Repeat point 4. Genetic engineering can be used to modify the genes responsible for sickle cell RBC production. Stem cell therapy can be used to, or the hematopoietic stem cell inside the bone marrow can be replaced to produce normal RBC. Yes. अच्छा, मैंने रोका थोड़े ना खाना खाने से। आप जिस समय पढ़ रहे हो उस समय खाना खाते रहो, एक हाथ से रोटी खाओ, दूसरे हाथ से लिखते रहो, मैं मांगूंगा नहीं। You can continue eating. If you have extra, you can provide it to me also. Rewind this session and then you can write it again. What was the last point? Why are you not hearing that in one time? Hematopoietic stem cell can be replaced to produce normal RBC. अच्छा, खा ही रहे थे लेकिन मैं लिखवाने लगा। सही है, चलो। So then we will meet in tomorrow's session. I know you have classes from 3 p.m. also. So we will meet in the next session. And then we will discuss the remaining topics after this part. Okay. So we will see the remaining topics, like we have seen that we have got hemophilia, color blindness, Down syndrome, trisomy. So these are a smaller portion. Sickle cell anemia was main one, which is related to like India and is having higher prevalence. The remaining ones are smaller ones. Then we will discuss the drug regime, the medicines, how it works. We will see the antimicrobial resistance also. Then we will see the vaccination and its types also. So when the government says elimination, it means that there is, if it is saying that it is eliminated, it means the one which are existing, they will be over. It's not that there will be no future. The ones which are present, we will try to like eliminate them. The one which may arise in future, we will be continuously monitoring them. Okay. So it is the line of government itself that we will have sickle cell elimination. But elimination here means the ones which are existing, they will be eliminated. The new ones will come, then we will work for them also. Right now we have higher burden, the ones which are being treated and the ones which are coming. So there is not a balance between it. नहीं, offline वाले students खाने चले गए हैं, so they are not here. They got just the inspiration that you were asking for food, that can we have food during the classes. So they just got inspired. Okay, so while you were asking about it, they have gone for eating their lunch. Okay, so let's meet. Hematopoietic is the name of the stem cell. देखो, I am seeing in online, so how can I believe that you are humans only? Google is also asking you that proof that you are not robot. So then I will have first one such tool to check whether you are robot or not, and then I will accept that you are humans. तो आप सिर्फ बोल दोगे कि हम भी इंसान है, हमें छुट्टी चाहिए, तो I will not like consider that. I will consider only when a robot test is done. Okay. Chalo, so let's meet in the next session and then we will discuss more. Thank you everyone. Take care and all the best.